How do you structure your local business? Is it a joint venture with local partners?
No, it's wholly owned Airbnb. Now we do have local partners. We do have a local investor. So we have Sequoia China, CBC, and a number of other local partners. And we have a lot of great advisors here as well.
So you have local investors like Sequoia China. You know Neil Shen?
Yes,
Okay,
Neil Shen
also
is
Tian Shuoning, Neil Shen of Sequoia China, Tian Shuoning of China brand.
Yeah, he's one of the founders of C-Trip, and Neil Shen is one of our important partners. And Sequoia US was our first investor ever, first venture capitalist. And so we were really excited to work with Sequoia China, Neil Shen, and he was one of our partners. And then Edward at CBC is another investor of ours. And we have some others that we haven't disclosed. But we have a number of very important strategic partners in China. And we also have partnerships in place with Alibaba through Alipay, and also at Tencent. We have WeChat Sign and a number of other features as well.
It's something like the LinkedIn's, the local business. They also partner with the Sequoia China and also the...
And Reid Hoffman, founder of LinkedIn, was the second venture capitalist to fund Airbnb. So they led a round in 2010 for Airbnb as part of his venture capitalist firm, Greylock. So Reid's an investor in us, and he was one of the entrepreneurs who advised me on China, and he knows China very well for an American
How do the local partners help the Airbnb's business in China?
I think that you have entrepreneurs like Neil. Edward is very close to the government and understands the government quite well, and others. And what we found, we also have GGV. These are some very important partners in China. What we found is that they've really helped us think a little bit differently and more locally, and they taught us some basic lessons. There are maybe three important lessons that I learned about China. The first is to be humble and not arrogant about coming to China. I think a lot of companies, a lot of American companies, assume they would just succeed in China, and I think that's not played out very well. The second is to acknowledge that China is different. And I think a lot of companies thought, well, we won in Germany, we won in France, we won in Brazil, we've done very well in Russia, let's just do the same thing in China. And time after time, that's not worked. And so we decided to be incredibly local. We set up a local engineering and product development team here. The team's going to triple in size. And the team here is really run pretty independent of their US business. So they have all the advantages of our network effect globally, but we give them local decision-making power. We try not to make sure that they have to run everything by San Francisco, being on a totally different time zone. That has really been what we think has hurt a lot of US companies. And the final thing is, if you are to succeed in China, you have to have a reason you're succeeding. You have to have a strength that you bring. And the strength that Airbnb brings is a global network. We exist in 191 countries. And if you want to travel, if you live in China and you want to travel around the world and you want to stay in a home, you're going to want to go to one place where you can experience homes all over the world. And so we think there's a global player, one global network that people are going to use. We don't think they're going to use one in China and then one when they leave China. And so if you want to stay in a home in Paris, then you're going to use Airbnb because we're by far the largest. And so we think the global network is something that's unique to Airbnb because we're global, we're a two-sided network effect business in the travel industry. And so I think this makes us quite different than most other American internet companies that were maybe local network effects or no network effect whatsoever.
The Chinese want to be the hosts. Do you have any decoration criteria for the house, for example? How finely should be decorated in order to serve?
Generally speaking, we have basic standards to become a host. We have hospitality standards you have to abide by. There's nearly a dozen hospitality standards. And we try to give some hospitality tips, but we also want to be open. We really want nearly any type of person to be able to offer nearly any type of space. We have a couple basic rules. We want real spaces unique spaces from real people. So we don't want a mass-produced space that's like many other spaces. So we like it to be an authentic local space. And the number two thing is we want to make sure that it's people powered, that a person's a host, not necessarily a company, so you know who you're interacting with. Beyond that though, the whole system works on a reputation system. And so obviously after I stay on Airbnb, I leave a review, and we're pretty strict on quality. In China, we actually have higher quality standards than in any other country in the world, to my knowledge. And so in addition to all of that, we have a team very hands-on that reviews all of the homes, and any home that we think is not of the highest quality, we remove. And a lot of our quality standards globally start in China. So China is like a bit of a laboratory for how to advance and improve our quality.